This is my audience.
Hi.
Install him one.
Alright.
One.
Alrighty. How's everyone doing today?
Great.
Good. I'd like to start off with a little quote. Now, you're born with the ability to change someone's life. Don't waste it. I'm sure most of you all have heard of someone receiving an organ transplant or even know someone that has received one. Organ donors are very important and they save lives, but there are just not enough people willing to be organ donors. Now, you may not have known, but according to the National Foundation for Transplants, 22 people die every day while waiting for a transplant. Now, some of you may be thinking right now whether or not you are a donor. Now, think hard because you could save someone's life one day if you are an organ donor. Now, you may have never really thought seriously about being a donor, but just think about the satisfaction you and your family would receive from knowing that you saved someone's life. WebMD says that probably the greatest benefit of organ donation is knowing that you're saving a life. That life might be yours, your spouse, your child, your parent, brother or sister, or even a stranger. Now, who wouldn't want to save someone's life if they had the chance? Well, here's your chance. You get one life, become an organ donor, and you can save someone's life. Now, most people do not realize how big of a problem lack of donors are in the world today. Now, you may just think that it only affects a few hundred people that will actually die if they do not receive an organ transplant soon. Well, that's where you're wrong. More than 123,000 men, women, and children currently need life-saving organ transplants. Now, by providing more organ donors, that will solve more than just the main problem at hand. Now, most people are unaware of the value of an organ that can be transferred to save someone's life. They are so valuable that people even kill in order to get organs that will save a life or the life of a loved one. Now, the family of the one in need may not directly kill someone and take the organ they need, but there's actually a black market for this type of action. Now, according to Mark Mostard's article, people are prepared to pay handsome black market prices for a no-question-asked kidney, liver, or heart. Now, by more people becoming organ donors, crime involving these cases will decrease. And think about if someone you dearly love, or even yourself, needs an organ transplant, and there is just no organ willing to be donated. You'd be devastated to even think that you or your loved one may not live, as the exact organ you were looking for just went right by because that person was not an organ donor. Now, this is a story for a lot of families needing an organ transplant, so why not help someone out and become an organ donor today? Now, the easy fix to this problem of lack of donors is to just have more people become organ donors, which isn't so simple. Now, some people may think that most people aren't aware of the problem, and that is why there's not enough organ donors. Well, that may be one reason, but just making people more aware of the situation will not cause them to act and actually register. The United States has an opt-in policy in regards to organ donation. Now, by this, I mean you have to give consent and register to be an official organ donor. Now, many people do not want to take the time to do this, so they are presumed not to be an organ donor, and that is the main reason why organ donation is so low. Now, I think that if the United States adopted an opt-out policy, there would be many more organs available to be transplanted. Now, the Huffington Post defines an opt-out policy as every citizen is assumed to be an organ donor unless they otherwise indicate their refusal. Now, this would instantly have more people become organ donors, and in most situations, the majority will follow whatever is set as the default. Now, this would drastically cut down the average wait time on the organ transplant wait list. Now, people normally do not realize that the wait list can have people wait up to months and even years to receive an organ. According to the Gift of Life donor program, the average time for a kidney on the wait list is 5 years. That is a long time to be waiting for an organ to be transplanted. And now the opt-out policy would definitely decrease the wait time and save more lives. And now that I've given you a plan, you can definitely think of this and go with it. And now think of all the organs that would now be available for those that are in need. No more having to wait weeks, months, or even years in misery, knowing that there's a slim chance the right organ will come by. Now, also, the more lives that are saved, the better chance this country has in advancing in many aspects. We may never know who holds the cure to cancer in their mind, but what if that person died young because they could not find an organ to be transplanted to him or her? And now, that may sound far-fetched, but actually Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple, received a liver transplant in order to keep him alive. Now, everyone on this earth is valuable, so let's do our part and do as much as we can to keep them alive. And one easy way to do that is become an organ donor. Now, there's nothing that you should be concerned about when signing up to be an organ donor. I know there are a lot of myths people tell saying that emergency rescue teams may not try so much to save your life if you are an organ donor. Well, that's where you're wrong. And now, according to the United Network for Organ Sharing, an open casket funeral is possible for organ and tissue donors, and there is no cost to the donor's family or estate for organ and tissue donations. Now, those are just some of the things people worry about and are unsure of if they've never taken the time to look up the answer. And so that is why they just don't even bother to even try and look for the answer and become an organ donor when they know they would definitely save someone's life if they had the opportunity. Now, I just gave you those answers, so now all you have to do is sign up and become an organ donor. It is simple. All you have to do is go online and register under your state's organ registry. And now I challenge you to go out and make a difference in someone's life by becoming an organ donor today. Thank you.
That was good.
Here's my audience.
Spring break.
That's great.
Spring break.
Thank you.